Good evening, everybody, and welcome to day six. Day six is our session on the intuition, also known as the third eye. Before I begin, as usual, I would like to do a sound check. Let me know if you can hear me clearly, and then we'll begin. All right, very good, and thank you. So, as we continue to work on our energy centers, we're keeping in mind that balance is key. Do I think always all centers will be balanced at the same time? Probably not, but we can keep them as close to balanced as possible, hopefully. And when we feel ourselves getting too far off balance, we understand what each center involves, what questions to ask, so we can always bring ourselves back into balance. So these sessions are about empowering you to balance yourself because you understand these centers. The third eye is located the middle of the forehead. The color associated with that center would be indigo. We've all heard the term indigo children, etc. This is our seat of intuition. I like to talk about intuition a little bit because I always find people having an issue with discerning whether or not a particular guidance is right or wrong. In Christianity, they go, is that the devil or is that God or is that me? Outside of Christianity, it seems to be a lack of self-trust. What both dilemmas have in common is there's this need to make the right decision. A need to make the decision that is right. Now, we understand that some decisions are better than others, no doubt. But if we believe the laws of the universe, then we know whatever decision we make is what needs to be made, and therefore it is right, or else the universe would not allow it. When we look at the points A and B, between points A and B, there are infinite amount of things that can happen. A smaller amount of things are probable, but only one thing can happen. And the thing that does happen is the thing that needs to happen. And we have to trust that in every situation. That takes a spiritual practice because we are used to plugging into ideals. Well, they should have done this and I should have done that and I could have. We know the whole phrase shoulda, coulda, woulda. You know, it's really intending to highlight the fact that it's pointless to shoulda, woulda, coulda. We can learn from it, right? We can do differently based upon those patterns in a healthy way. But the thing that happened needed to happen. And we have to put ourselves into that mindset if we're going to lean into our intuition. Because sometimes your intuition, following your intuition, will lead you to outcomes that you don't like. And you'll think you made the wrong decision. But remember, the decision that you made is the decision that needed to be made. Therefore, it is right. Okay. We're not disputing that there are alternative outcomes, but those alternative outcomes don't exist in this time space reality. In this time space reality, the thing that happened was supposed to happen. That means looking back and beating up on yourself and beating up on others because of the choices that they have made for the outcomes that they have gotten is pointless. And it's not consistent with universal truth. I don't know about you, but growing up, my parents, in an effort to help me make the right decisions, would warn me that I would regret not listening. And when you make your bed, you got to lay in it. Or if you lay in a bed with dogs, you're going to get up with fleas, And what they were attempting to do was get me to weigh the consequences before I acted. But what that did was instill fear in my natural guidance system, to instill fear and to cause me to avoid consequences that I perceived as negative. And number one, that was disempowering because I had no tools. So even when I experienced negative consequences, whether it was the result of listening or not, haven't you ever done something the right way, the perceived right way, all the right way, and it still didn't work out? Right. So it teaches you fear that even when you do things the right way, you are disempowered to deal with the disappointment that naturally comes from hoping for a thing but not getting it. I think our parents would have done better if they were going to help us to manage or move through or heal through disappointing circumstances, help us to come to a conclusion that's consistent with universal truth. That would have been more beneficial. They didn't have that, but we have it now. So understanding that the thing that happened is the thing that needed to happen also takes away the need to judge yourself for a decision or judge someone else. So it allows more freedom because we know the thing that we are confident that the thing that we chose was the thing that needed to be chosen. And we also accept that there are points in this life where we have an abundance of information, and there are points where we don't have enough information to make a conclusion or make a decision that we feel comfortable with. And our internal guidance system is going to be the thing to help us with that. So we got to lean into it through practice and remember getting things right, doing the thing that should have been done is not the point here. The point here is to trust yourself. But don't you know, sometimes you need to meet challenges in order to grow. You need to meet challenges to realize your opportunities for development. And so your intuition will lead you into a challenge, but it also will lead you into ease and flow. It will lead you into things you want to manifest. It will lead you in a process to the manifestation that includes the challenge, but you're on your way. Another thing to remember here is when your intuition is out of balance, you feel suspicious. Anything and everything is suspect. You depend on your past to determine what you're going to do in your present. And that is suspicion, that is not intuition. Your intuition is present in the present moment and it's taking things on a case-by-case basis. Your intuition is the guidance from your spirit. And because your spirit is not worried about who's lying to you, your spirit is not worried about who is, doing whatever. Your spirit is not concerned about who thinks a thing about you. Your ego cares about that, but your spirit doesn't. So your spirit will say, go do this. And it won't make logical sense. Your ego will fight against it. Like, why? Your spirit will say, I need you to talk to this person. This is a season for you to talk to this person. And your ego will say, why? A lot of people say, oh, my intuition told me to do that. And I found out X, Y, or Z. So let's draw a distinction. Your intuition is never going to lead you to violate someone else's personal space. Never. Because your higher self is not concerned about revealing and uncovering untruths in other people. That's not the goal of your higher self. That's an egoic goal. Your higher self, your intuition is never going to lead you to go through somebody's stuff or follow them or try to pull the truth out of them or judge them and sit in contraction. That is not the work of the intuition or the higher self. We need to draw the distinction between suspicion and intuition. A person who moves in suspicion is not in the present moment. That person is living in the past and navigating their present situation according to the past situation. And if they happen to be right, it furthers the imbalance because they begin to lean more and more in the suspicion, and they call it intuition. Intuition is expansive because your spirit doesn't dwell in the confines of this time-space reality. So it is not defined or confined or conditioned by experiences. Your higher self is expansive and pure and present at all times. So pay attention to when you're getting guidance and you feel contracted rather than expanded. We continue to talk about this word safety. We've been talking about it since we discussed the root. People place a premium on safety outside of themselves. But really, the safety is inside when you understand the laws of the universe and your internal guidance system is intact. You are safe because you are moving exactly where you need to move and how, and you can trust the process. That's safety, right? So when we're talking about safety and security, even in our creativity, even in our self-expression, even in our passion, or in our will and our power seed, we have to remember safety is an internal state of being. If you see the world as threatening and people there ready to harm you rather than people doing what people do, then you're going to have to lean into your suspicion. It's going to cause you not to trust people. It's going to cause you not to open up easily, even when you want to. It causes suffering. Your intuition leads to expansion. All right. So some practices to help balance your intuition is rely on your intuition on small things, even eating or drinking, or what kind of oil to use, or what kind of tea, or what kind of food. Ask yourself, what kind of food is going to be best for me today? And get the information from inside. When you're driving to work, don't take the same route. Ask yourself, what other routes are available and which one should I take? Right? Lean into the feeling of a thing. When you feel contracted, ask yourself, where's this contraction coming from? Is it coming from a past situation? Is this really applicable here? Or is this a situation where I need to move in a case-by-case basis? Your intuition has been deactivated from childhood, especially if you grew up in religious systems where they teach you to have your authority outside. You may want to do something, but you are taught if you lean not to your own understanding and acknowledge God in all of your ways, God will direct your path. So we have people who are in church and come out of church who have great difficulty making decisions. They become double-minded. And the scripture even tells them that a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. But having your authority outside of you, your guidance outside of you, will create a double mind. Part of you wants to do this, part of you wants to do that. Haven't you ever said that? So the work that we're doing is to bring the soul into alignment so that you're acting as a unit. You envision a thing with your third eye. You can see the thing. You don't judge the thing. The ego is in alignment, so it's not tearing the thing apart. Rather, it's in service to the vision. You feel your passion. You tap into your unique personality and will in order to bring the vision into manifestation. You allow the vision to be nurtured by ideas and words and environments that support it. And you give birth to the vision and ideas in this reality. Sometimes when your third eye is blocked, you don't feel creative, you feel restless. That's also a symptom of an out of balance heart chakra or womb center. So the question is, am I experiencing a creative block, meaning I have the vision, but I don't have the instruction on how to carry it out, then you can lean into your intuition and start trying, do some intuitive activities. Um, are you lacking a vision, but you feel like being creative, and that's the block? It just depends on where the block is, because sometimes we have a vision, but we don't know how to carry it out. Some people call that a creative block. Sometimes there is no vision, but you feel the creative energy of your womb center and you're passionate about it, but you don't have the vision. So creative blocks come in different forms. It's important to pinpoint the area that is experiencing the blockage. And sometimes you can feel the energy in your body. I feel overactive in my gut. I feel overactive in my head. I have headaches and brain fog. I feel overactive in my womb. I'm experiencing cramping. I am not able to nurture myself well, or I'm over nurturing others. You see, all of these systems affect one another. Some activities to strengthen your intuition involve remembering that your power seat is inside of you. And whatever decision you make is the right decision. Because life is not about getting things right. It's about making the most informed choice that is in alignment with your intuition. When something feels off, in what area of the body do you feel it? Plug into the questions of that area. Inquire of your intuition, where should I look for the answer in my body? The questions of the throat and the heart apply here too, and the womb. What do I need to see that I don't see already? Now we're channeling the information from our spirit. What do I need to know that I don't know already? What do I need to hear that I don't hear already? What direction should I take this in? Practicing those questions and then obeying is a good practice. Any kind of intuitive singing where you just sing from whatever comes from within, or hum or play. Any kind of intuitive art where you just sit down with the paint and just begin to paint, or the pencil, or the colors. Maybe it's intuitive movement where there's no structure, no choreography. You're just moving according to what you see, the vision in your head. Maybe it's intuitive cooking where you don't have a recipe, but you have an idea and you don't quite follow the rules, but it comes out really well. Or maybe it doesn't. Then you still learned. Your intuition often guides you to the places that you haven't explored yet. So as we come to the end of this teaching, I'd like you to place your right hand on your forehead and feel the energy of your hand. Feel the energy of your forehead and feel them becoming one. Imagine all of your energy centers coming into alignment right now, right at the midline of your body. There is balance. There is focus. There is groundedness. There is emotion. There's empowerment. There's peace. There's safety. There's security. Take a moment and allow all of these things to align in your being. I'm aligned. My heart, my mind, my creative center, my throat, they're one. I am aligned and I operate as a unit, a sovereign being, an autonomous being. My power seat is inside of me, and I trust it. I trust my power seat to bring experiences that I need. I trust that the lessons of life are for my highest good, and we know all things work together for our good. We release the ways that we remember past mistakes in terms of right and wrong, good and bad. We choose to neutralize those memories right now. Those memories were lessons. We realize often they didn't feel good, but the lesson was good. It was necessary. If we don't look at it in terms of good, we can say it was necessary. The lessons were necessary for us to grow and expand, or else we would stay in a place of ignorance and contraction. We honor the processes of our intuition. And because there's no right or wrong decision, we trust that we can be creative in this life. There is grace for trial and error. There is grace for experimentation. There is grace for observation and learning. There is grace. We receive grace seeping into every area of our lives where we felt, how in the world did I do that? Why did I do it? The places that we offer judgment, we feel grace seep into the crevices of the judgment that you've been issuing to yourself for years. We allow our divinity to come forward and guide us. We allow our divinity to come forward and guide us. We allow our divinity to come forward and guide us. Our spirit is our divinity. We give up the need to look away to other people, and we commit to self-alignment first and foremost. We give up the need to be whatever people are wanting us to live up to be. And we submit to our internal guidance. Our internal guidance is valid. Our internal guidance is necessary. Our internal guidance is a key component to a rich life. And we are courageous from our heart to follow. And we are strong and of good courage to trust our discernment, our intuition, our inner guidance, our higher self. If you would like, you may take your hand away from your third eye or your forehead area. Feel that area cooling because the heat of your hand is gone. Feel the sensations where your hand used to be. Sense the energies aligning and balancing. Your mind is clear. Your mind is fresh and revitalized. Your mind is serving you well. Release any tension from your scalp. Release any furrowing of the brow you may have. Release your nostrils, your jawbone, the tongue from the top of the mouth. Breathe into your throat. Release, breathe into your chest. Release, breathe into your solar plexus, your gut. Release, breathe into your womb space and release. Breathe into your root and release. We count all things well within us and outside of us. We count all things purposeful and necessary. We receive wisdom from our intuition, our higher self, our spirit intuition, and we rest in it. For that is the safety we've always needed and wanted. We speak peace into this process. As we close this session, we agree by saying, it is so. It is so. And it is so. And have a beautiful night.